everyone. Good morning. This is so weird. It's morning time. We're just gonna wait for my friend Dee to join. So I'm so excited I get to do these now. So I met Dee in 2018 when I moved back from Hawaii, and I was in California, and I got a job at the spa. And I believe she came to the spa the spa was called Hailunia in Costa Mesa, and I think she came like 2 months after me. And yeah, so then we just created a really good friendship there at the spa, and she really taught me a lot about massage work and healing, and I'm just so excited to have her share her journey with Reiki with us. I know I know she'll be here soon, so I'm just gonna talk story about her. So she's really cool. I remember I was a little bit like amazed at how pretty she was. I was like, oh my gosh, she's so pretty. And she's very tall, but she's very silly, super funny, very kind, and whenever we were at the spa and sometimes there were no clients, she would do a massage on me, and she taught me a lot about chakra balancing massage. Oh, there she is. And all that good stuff, and she's gonna share it right now. Let me see. It's connecting. She's also a really good dancer. Very excellent dancer. Hi, Dee.
Hello.
Hi. I was just telling everybody what a good dancer you are.
Oh my gosh. Yes. I love dancing. Okay, here, let me just prop myself. Okay,
Yeah.
can you see me?
Yeah.
Hey,
And
Brenda, I love your makeup and your earrings.
thank you.
Absolutely beautiful.
You do too. I love that necklace. It looks
Oh,
so.
thank you.
Yeah.
It's called Angel's Aura.
Mm-hmm. Ooh. I think you told me about it, but it's really nice.
Thank you.
I
Yeah,
like.
I love it. It's very people love it too, which is great.
Yeah. So
Everyone asks about it.
what's Angel's Aura?
It's a stone. And I do love angels a lot, and I do connect to angels, so I thought it's perfect.
Mm-hmm. So
Yeah.
nice. Okay, so we have some people on, and I think we can get started. Let me just get my notes. Oh yeah, saying in the beginning that when I first met you, I was very much in awe of you because you were so pretty and you were so tall, and I was like,
Oh, come on, Brenda. You're the
oh, she's so
sweetest.
pretty. How do I talk to
So
her?
are you. Come on.
Shh, I'm okay.
But thank you.
Okay, so here we can get started. So, hello everyone. Thank you for joining the Artist Talk today. I'm going to be talking with my very good friend, Miss Dagmara Loftus, and she is a Polish healing facilitator that specializes in energy work, nutrition, and wellness. So, thank you again, Dee, for saying yes and being here.
Thank you, Brenda, for having me. I love you so much. You're my dear friend. I miss you dearly, obviously, too. Thank you for inviting me. And also, the whole topic of like energy work being an art is amazing. And it's so like worth sharing with everyone. And hello, everyone, too. So nice to have you. Please, drop your questions in the box if you have any during our conversation, and we're gonna try to get to them and answer them. And yeah, welcome.
Yes, no, thank you for saying all of that. I'm so happy to have you. And yeah, I really do think this is a very special one, not only because you're special to me, but because you've taught me a lot about healing with the body and massage and all the stuff that we're going to talk about. And I'm still learning a lot more, and I really do think that this is an art within itself that isn't really talked about as much. So I'm very happy that you're going to talk about it with us. So we're just going to get right to it and talk about where you're from.
Yeah, so I'm from Poland, born and raised. I lived in Poland till I was about 20 something, 22, I guess. From a small town called Radomsko in the middle of Poland. So if someone from Radomsko is tuning in, hi, good to have you.
And so what how did you get into energy work?
Well, I like to think that I was around energy work, since I was little. I was super sensitive to like energy, other people's emotions. I'm an empath, super sensitive person, just generally. But professionally, it didn't kind of start to happen until I went to a massage and bodywork school, where I first was introduced to Reiki. And of course, I thought, no, it's like a woo-woo, like, no.
Yeah.
It's not a thing for me. Clearly, I wasn't ready. And then, I started to work with bodies, doing massage therapy, and I started to feel things from people, read things from their bodies, from their energetical body. And I didn't know I was doing, and I was like, what the heck, what is happening? And I used to share that with everyone around, and people would think like, are you a little crazy or something? In that process, I met a lot of Reiki masters, that I would work on, and they would say, hey, like, you are doing energy work. Maybe you should look into getting trained, right? And I wasn't ready. And I wasn't ready pretty much until we met. When I joined Hailunia, which is, or was, or is, an Ayurvedic wellness center, right? And I started to, they trained me in like chakra balancing. So I started to work a little more with that. And I started to be like, oh, okay, this is actually, it's starting to be my calling. Like maybe I should look into like getting trained. And I had some, amazing breakthroughs with clients, in the sessions. And I decided to go and get trained in Reiki. And after that, it was just, going on the journey of, my own practice, like working more with people. And, training is one thing, but also, the more I started to learn how to work with energy, what is my specialty, what are my cues, what are my gifts, then it really started to open up.
Yeah, thank you, Dee. This is also good. I'm so excited for you to share more. So when you decided to choose this as your calling, did you receive support from your family and your friends?
I would generally say yes, and I was really blessed to have a lot of people that I call in the realm around me, because otherwise I would think I'm a little crazy or there is something happening, right? Because I started to see, things on people, like feel like really intense experiences, like, seeing spirits and stuff like that. And if I wouldn't have people around me that were doing that type of work and were familiar, again, I would really think like I'm crazy. But like, because, they were saying, okay, this is normal, this is like your gift. Just make sure you protect yourself, make sure you clear, and make sure, if you feel called to, go get more trainings, go get some mentorships, and learn more about that, and work more with spirits, and allow yourself to be guided.
Yeah.
And I forgot, what was your question? Oh, I know. Okay, yes. So yes, I do. Everyone knows what I'm doing pretty much, and I feel like the main one is my husband. Because when we met, I was a totally different person, and I wasn't doing what I'm doing right now. And right now my business is about nutrition and wellness, and mostly about energy work. And even though I do nutrition, I do focus on energy a lot, because that plays a huge role in people's health. And usually the problem is deeper, the problem is underneath. So, my business turned into this, mostly energy work business, right? And my husband has been really supportive along the way, and really, believing in me and encouraging me to do it. And, sometimes I just don't share details with him, because I used to, and he just kind of felt uncomfortable, which is totally fine. But more, he knows pretty much everything besides the details. But I understand everyone is, you know, on their own journeys, and some people just, you know, don't want to get deeper into those things, which is fine. But yes, support 100%.
Good. And so now I kind of want to like talk about your schooling. So what schools did you attend?
Mm-hmm. So, you know, when I was still in Poland, I started, which is like very funny, with international tourism and relations. And then when I immigrated to US, I decided to kind of follow my calling. And I was always interested in like healthy living and that type of things. And back then I was, you know, going through the immigration, all the papers, all the process. It takes time. And my main goal was nutrition and doing nutrition school, right? But first, I wanted to find a school where I didn't need like any, you know, specific documents and green card, because I was still in the process. And my friend told me about this massage and bodywork school, and I thought, why not? Even though I had nothing to do with like massage and body. I don't even know why I did it, but you know, it plays a huge role in my whole journey. So I just went for it and I did the program. And after the program, I'm like, I don't want to do massage therapy. I don't know why I did the program,
Yeah.
right? But again, it was just like a huge healing process for me, and also, you know, huge learning process. So I started with the massage and bodywork school out of San Francisco. And then I did holistic nutrition consultant program, Bauman College in Berkeley, which is such a wonderful school. I really, really enjoyed it. I've learned so much, and I'm still in touch with some people from there. Wonderful, wonderful program. And then after that, I did a lot of Reiki certifications, Reiki 1, Reiki 2, Reiki 3, with the same Reiki master, Jessica Stone, which is my dearest. I love her so much. And then I did oncology Reiki and Reiki master with Carrie Draper she's in Huntington. And I also did a Kundalini Reiki master. So yeah, quite some training.
Cool.
And obviously I'm, you know, always like evolving. Like right now I'm doing like a therapeutic nutrition course, and I'm going to be doing like psychology nutrition very soon, because, you know, I'm all about growth and, you know, constantly just learning new tools and new techniques.
Ooh, I'm excited for that. That's so cool.
Yeah, me too.
And so what was your experience in those schools? And I know that we kind of like have to kind of like trim down the time, but you're doing really good. You're doing really good. But what do you think is the experience you've had in school?
Well, I feel like, you know, I've learned a lot. I've learned a lot of different techniques, protocols, you know, a huge amount of information. I've met wonderful people. I've met wonderful teachers and mentors. And doing those programs, I feel like, just generally comparing to like the regular university program that I did like back in Poland, and then like in Spain when I was doing the Erasmus, it's like I've learned so much better from the programs, so much more from the programs than like a regular university, if that
Yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. And so, what do you feel that school prepared you for? Because you have a lot of information, so anything you want to share would be great.
Yeah. Well, I mean, again, knowing different like protocols and different tools, you know, history behind certain things, and, you know, receiving mentorship. I
Mhm.
feel like that would be like the most like pillars in
Okay.
education.
Yeah. And so, what do you feel that school did not prepare you for?
Real life.
Yeah.
And even though, you know, some of the programs in schools that I've attended talked about, you know, biodiversity and all of us being so different, and not using same tools and protocols for different people.
Yeah.
but rather focus on, you know, a person as a whole. But that really comes up in you know, healings and sessions, and the work that I do with people is just really, you have to tune in to the specific person, to their needs, what they need, even, you know, in terms of like nutrition, what do they specifically need for, you know, their healing, and for what are they going through in terms of like health, and really seeing person, you know, as a whole, and as this individual, right?
Yeah, no, thank you, Deep. This is all really good. And so with that, um, we get to talk about your art. So, so yeah, you can, it's a lot, and I know that we can't really dive into everything. So, you can talk to me about it or share whatever you'd like to share. And yeah, let's get into it, Deep.
Okay, and I just want to say, because I'm looking into your eyes, and I see that you have, it looks like little suns.
Yeah, yeah, I forgot to tell you. I'm like, I was trying to do like little rays of sun. That's why I had to do like the makeup twice because I messed it up the first time. But
I
yeah,
love it. I love it, Brenda. High vibe. You're on my,
thank
you're my favorite.
you.
Okay, yeah. So energy work and Reiki, you know, it's such a broad topic, and so much thing to cover. And
Mhm.
also, one thing that I really want to mention is I'm going to be talking about things from my perspective, obviously, and each practitioner is so different. And,
Mhm.
you know, traditional Reiki is like this, you know, whole little thingy. And then when you go into the word and start doing energy work, it just like opens up this whole big, you know, room of opportunities, if that makes sense. So with that being said, energy work, you know, we're working on energy body. We're working on the supple body. So on the body that is not necessarily visible with the eye, right? But you can feel it. Now to feel it, you really have to tune in. And it makes me really happy because energy work is starting to be more and more popular, and people are starting to you know, do more research on it, and talk about it more, like how important it is in the healing. So just to give people a little bit, maybe like a picture. So in our body, you know, we have like all the blood vessels, right? So the blood is going circling around our body to provide nutrients from our body, right? We
Mhm.
have lymphatic system, so the system that kind of like cleanses everything, right?
Mhm.
Well, we also have the energy that is like freely flowing through our body through different energy centers. So energy body would be like our aura. Our aura is outside of our body, and then meridians, kind of like inside but also outside.
Yeah.
So like the energy channels, and then chakras. We have 7 main, and then we have a lot of different chakras. We have chakras in our palms, above our head, and okay, let's focus on the main 7. It's let's keep it simple, okay?
Yeah.
And a very nice visual that I like to use is, ideally we want our energy to flow through our body freely, and also we want to have kind of just like a river, right? In the
Mhm.
river you want to have like right amount of water, meaning if there is too much, it's going to overflow. If it's too little, it's going to be dry and it's not going to provide water, right, for
Mhm.
the villages and the towns around it. So same with energy. We want it to flow freely, but we don't want to have any blockages. And the blockages in our energy body can be caused by, you know, things that we go through in our human experience, through emotional trauma, you know, going through like accidents, like stressful periods of times, etc., etc. And more people are starting to talk about, okay, well, what is illness? What is a disease? A disease is this is, right? So you
Mhm.
don't have ease in your body. And, you know, that is usually manifests physically. But it actually starts inside. It starts
Mhm.
with our spirit, when our spirit gets sick, it starts with our emotions and traumas. And then over time, you know, when we don't work on that, when we don't release the negative emotions from our body, that is building up and it's creating a blockage. And over time, that manifests in the physical body as an illness.
Yes. Perfectly.
Okay.
Good. I'm just looking through the notes. Yeah, no, this is good. Yeah, so I know you wanted to do an exercise. Did you still want to do it?
Yeah. So, you know, because, you know, some people think it's energy work is woo woo, like what it is. I like to give them a little like experience, you know, to feel how it all works. Okay. More or less. This is just going to be very simple. So in the exercise, what are we going to do is we're going to take both of our hands in front of our heart, a couple of inches or centimeters apart. Okay.
I'm trying to explain it.
Oh, good. Okay.
Got it.
And then you're going to go ahead and close your eyes and take a deep breath through your nose. And exhale. Just keep breathing. And you're going to get quiet. And you're going to focus in the space between your hands. And you can even play around a little bit, like bringing your hands closer. And then bringing them further and closer. And Brenda, start notice, what do you feel? And if you want to share that with the audience.
Yeah, sure. I feel like a little statics, like on my
Okay.
pinky and on my thumb. Um, it's kind of cool right now, but then if I move it closer, it gets a little warmer. I feel like
Mm-hmm.
there's like a space there. Like you said,
Mm-hmm.
I feel something there, but I feel mostly like static and tingly.
Do you feel the resistance when you bring the hands closer together?
Mhm. Yeah, I was just about to say that. I'm like, I don't know how to word it, but I feel like it's hard to kind of close it.
Uh-huh. Okay. So this is the flow of the energy in your body. Now, the more quiet you're gonna get, the more you're gonna feel it. Okay. Also, a nice thing to do sometimes is when you feel pain in certain part of your body, take your hand. Let's say I have an shoulder pain, right? Take your hand close to your shoulder and see what you feel. You're gonna feel
Mhm.
a lot of energy accumulated around. You're gonna feel hot. You're gonna feel a lot of going on here. Okay,
Mhm.
that is energy.
Mhm.
Okay. So hopefully with this little exercise, I gave you a little example of like how to feel your own energy.
Yeah. Oh, that was nice.
Do you like it?
Yeah, that was really nice. I felt it. Oh, it was so weird. Like I felt the tingliness like right here. In a good
Yeah.
ooh, yeah, I feel very relaxed now. I don't
Good. Good.
hard to relax. No, that was really good. So is there anything else you want to share? Because in the notes I have that you kind of want to spread awareness about Reiki and how it works, the physical body and energy points. I don't know if you want to talk a little bit more about that.
Mm-hmm. So maybe I know, you know, in California, energy work is getting traction and it's becoming more and more popular. Maybe not necessarily like in my native country, so Poland, it's not really that well known quite yet. And, you know, again, what I said before, that usually the illness starts in our energy body, you know, in our spirit, in our unreleased emotions, and then it manifests into the physical body. So that's why, you know, I want everyone to get familiar with energy work. And even though, you know, doesn't mean you have to like go to the practitioner, but like raise the awareness of like how are you feeling. If you're, you know, carrying like any emotional baggage in your body, you know, um, if you carry other people's emotions, if you are giving your power away in a way to other people, if you are like, you know, if you feel like depressed and not good about your life, like why really, you know, and you can always change it. So I mean, energy work has like many and many aspects, and obviously, you know, you can, you know, come to me for a session or someone else. Great, obviously, but my goal is to spread awareness and give tools, and so that people can work on themselves daily, and you know, prevent the diseases before they start, you know, and raise their vibration and just live the life that they are supposed to live, you know, healthy, high vibe life. You know, it doesn't necessarily mean you always have to walk, you know, with your head in the clouds. No, like not necessarily like that, but like really, you know, feeling healthy in your spirit, mind, and your body. And this is my mission, you know, to spread that with everyone. So maybe I will talk about, what do you think about, I will talk a little bit about like, you know, what sometimes people think that, you know, energy work or like Reiki is like devil or like
Yeah,
religion
yeah,
or like
yeah.
you
Because
can, okay, because
yeah,
yeah, there is like a lot of um
stigma.
how do you, stigma, yes, thank you,
Mhm.
you know, around like energy work. So you know, I hear a lot, okay, but like it's a religion. No, Reiki is not any type of religion, and you know, you can be religious but you can do energy work.
Mhm.
You can be spiritual and you can belong to some type of religion, which is totally fine, you know. Being spiritual is literally working with the spirit. And you know, some people say, okay, well, doing like, you know, energy work, or you know, some people do different kind of like energy modalities, and it's like dangerous or something. No, it's not dangerous. I always encourage people to kind of get to know your practitioner, get to know and ask questions. That's why I always, you know, am open to answering questions. If people have any questions, you know, hop on a call with them, chat a little bit, and I encourage questions to ask me, you know, what am I working with, and you know, what are my tools, because I can't, you know, say that every practitioner out there, you know, is a good, not a good practitioner, but like works with light, if that makes
Mhm.
sense. But if a person is especially on like a Reiki path or any type of like energy or healing,
Mhm.
they usually work with spirit. They usually work with God, angels, you know, Jesus energy, and any, I'm talking for myself right now, but like any other energies that are associated with God, source, universe,
Mhm.
high vibe energy, right? There is no space in the healing for any low vibrational energies, if that
Yeah.
makes sense. And what is interesting, you know, I grew up Catholic,
Mhm.
right? And I consider myself Christian,
Mhm.
open-minded Christian, obviously. But the more I grew into the practice of energy work, the closer I became with God and Spirit.
Mhm.
And again, as I mentioned on the very beginning, I do connect a lot with angels.
Mhm. Thank you, Dee. I was actually going to say that you were going to talk about the stigma. I also wanted you to kind of talk about, because I don't remember if you mentioned scientists with the names of the scientists when we were prepping for it, but you said that there are scientists that talks about chakras and energy lines in our bodies and how our body works as an antenna.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, so still there is not enough research done on energy work. Well, why? Because research usually requires money, right? So who,
Mhm.
you know, who has money? Think about it that way. But there are people, researchers who work on, you know, exploring subtle energies, and the guy who like really stuck to my head was Professor Tiller from Stanford University, who works on defining subtle bodies and kind of classifying them and explaining how do they work. And he actually talks about, you know, higher dimensional energies that like, and in a way that enter our body like through us. So if so like our chakras and meridians are the energy points in our body that transmute this higher vibrational energy from higher dimensions into our body, so our physical body can actually receive it. Okay, because sometimes it can be like too much, if that makes sense. Okay. Yeah. So that, and I know there are like there's some like work on the chakras being done. I mean, you know, now you can go on like the internet and really just go in there and find all of those you know, research and all of those people who like do different work. But kind of the more I'm into it, the more I hear people doing different researches about different things. So and that's a huge topic we could, you know, talk about for like, and not just on the research, it could be like an hour for like how are there like research on like chakras, on subtle energies, on working with spirit and things like that.
Yeah, no, thank you, Deep. This is all super good. We're doing very good on time, by the way. We have 30 we have 30 minutes left. So, do you want to share anything else about excuse me, Reiki and energy work before we move on to other questions?
Do you have any specific questions?
I'm trying to think right now because I asked all the other questions I have. I kind of want to end.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, do you have another exercise that you can think of that we can do right now? If not, that's okay. Or we can move on.
Exercise. Okay, well, yeah, sure. Well, there are some breathing exercises we can do to kind of like clear yourself. Okay, so maybe I will share that. I usually it's a part of my training, but I can share that with you. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and let's keep it to like, you know, 3 minutes maybe. Okay. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and sit comfortably. And we're gonna relax and lean into our breath and our physical body. We're gonna just relax into stillness. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and take a deep inhale. And with this inhale, I want you to focus on the top of your head and bring down gold light towards your belly. Okay, so we're gonna try that. Go ahead, take a deep breath. Inhale gold light into your belly. And with exhale, we're gonna feel this light go through every part of our body, around our body, okay? Kind of like a mist. So we're gonna inhale towards the belly and then exhale mist. Inhale all the positivity, comfort, love, joy, and exhale every little piece of a negative energy out of our body, okay? Again, inhale gold light into the belly and exhale any anger, resentment, loneliness. Inhale and then exhale with each breath and each exhale, feeling our body becoming more and more light, more and more clear. Maybe feeling yourself floating a little bit. Really focusing on pushing out all the negative stuff, all the things that don't serve us from our body, from our aura. Really sinking in this experience and enjoying time with ourselves. I want you to really work with your belly. Take inhale from your belly and exhale from your belly. Okay, and slowly coming back to your regular breath. And you can, if you want to kind of repeat that exercise after, you can sit here for like 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, however much you need to kind of empty that tank, okay? Okay, and you can go ahead, open your eyes. How are you feeling?
Good. I feel very relaxed. I feel very, very relaxed. This is really
Okay, I'm so glad. More peaceful, more
yes,
light.
yes.
Yeah.
Thank you, Dee.
Yeah, of course. And the longer, you sit, the longer you feel, the more you feel lighter and the more you feel at peace with yourself. Okay, so that's like a nice, very quick exercise people can do for clearing and
Yeah, thank you, Dee.
yeah.
So I want to kind of like make sure we get to the questions.
Yeah.
So thank you again for sharing about Reiki because I'm still learning a lot about it. So my next question is, how do you feel being a female Reiki practitioner? And it's a question. It's something that I want to ask to see if you've ever not felt supported or if you've ever been harassed while practicing your art. Yeah.
So in terms of energy work, no. Well, meaning I've never been harassed, or I feel like I attract people that I want to attract in a way, meaning clients. And I feel very supported. I feel like being a female energy worker, it's just like spreading the nurturing kind of energy around you. So all I have to say is positive things. I might share maybe on the very like beginning of when I first started to work as a body worker. In like random places, I did have a couple of like interesting incidents. But I always worked in the places where I felt like really supported, and they would always save me.
Yeah.
In a way. So yeah, it happened in the very early stages,
Yeah.
right? Like right after my school when I was still like in Northern California. Yeah, but even back then I didn't kind of know how to kind of also energetically, protect myself.
Oh, thank you for that. And
Yeah.
so how are you taking care of yourself physically and emotionally during this time?
During the pandemic.
Yes.
Okay, I feel like I have to do it even 10 times more
Yeah.
because I collectively can feel, everyone's energy, which is nowadays, very heavy, lots of fear and anger and sadness around confusion. So first of all, get out of the social media and TV. I have
Yeah.
to do it, and I'm not really good about that generally. So, but that's also a tip that I would have for everyone: taking breaks from social media. really, practicing my self-care before I step into the day or right after at the end of the day, to connect, with my energy and feel what's mine and what's not mine. Because sometimes I wake up and I'm like, oh, am I feeling this way? And I might be picking on someone else's energy or, so yeah, really self-care, quiet time. I always say that if there is someone here that has been with me on like different lives, I always say quiet time, because it's so important to just sit with yourself and with your own energy and get clear on what is yours and what is not yours, and really have the break from any external sources that are attacking us like every day. It's like, you wake up and you're like, bombarded with, and then, it's like life and work and this, and you're like emails, phones, people, there is so much here that you can't really connect with here. Yeah. And that's important to first connect with here, to be able to go out there and be like, okay, I can tackle this. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, and I have my own little, rituals that sometimes I share with people, that I do to like protect myself and then also clear myself at the end of the day, too.
Thank you, Dee. No, that's really important. So thank you for sharing that. And my last question before we open it up for the audience to ask questions is, do you have any advice you would like to give to artists, any Reiki artists or just artists in general?
Yeah, so art is a process, so is healing. So be patient with it. And that's why like the connotation of like art and healing, right? How you actually thought about me as like an artist, right? And really just tune into yourself, follow your calling, follow your intuition, and go in a direction that like really sparks your soul on fire. I feel like that's very important, and create from the space of love, because that's the most powerful, and trust yourself, believe in yourself.
Yeah, thank you so much, Dee. This was so
Yeah.
good. I love it all. So yeah, so with that, if anybody has any questions they would like to ask Dee, I keep forgetting that like everybody calls you Dagmara, and I'm like, Dee, if anybody has
Dee's fine too.
Yeah, if anybody has any questions for her, please ask them now. We have a good amount of time for questions, and while we're waiting for people to ask questions, I actually have a lot more questions for you, Dee, if that's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, is Reiki and chakra the same thing?
No, and kind of yes. So in the traditional Reiki, Reiki from Japan, actually, because that's where Reiki originated from, there is nothing about chakras. And incorporating chakras into Reiki is more so of like a Western approach to Reiki. And, chakras are obviously like Eastern modality. Like a Vedic modality, right? So with that being said, I feel like, or the answer would be, the chakras started to be incorporated into Reiki and energy work because people were drawn intuitively towards those energy points, if they are blocked. So you have like 7 main chakras along your spine, right, from the very base to the very bottom. Each chakra has obviously like a color, like a mantra, like a specific tone to it, as well as it is associated with different like emotions, glands, and organs in the body. Okay. So with that, people were like drawn towards these energy centers, especially if the chakra is like blocked or it's there's like too much energy around it or something. So I feel like that it's why it became a part of the practice, but it's not the main part of Reiki. It can be incorporated into Reiki if that aligns with the practitioner, right? And FYI, each practitioner is so different. That's why I use the term of, Reiki and energy work, or Reiki and frequency healing, because when you are in the session, there is a lot of things that you're actually doing, not only Reiki, okay? Unless someone wants like a standard Reiki, which is placing hands position over the body and channeling the Reiki energy through your body, or like over the client, right? And chakra balancing can be like itself a different modality that like just focuses on the chakras, but it's also a type of energy work, okay?
Yeah. No, thank you, Dee. And so,
Yeah.
how do you separate yourself from the emotions that a person could be feeling during the Reiki section? And I remember we both agreed to use low vibration instead of negative energy.
Oh yeah, yeah. Thank you for that. Yeah, so I always prepare myself for every session. I have a little practice that I do for grounding, protection, clearing myself, clearing and sealing the space, and then that includes a practice of clearing and shielding myself, so I don't pick up on their emotions. I still can feel it in a way that like I know what it is, but then it doesn't go on me, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Because then I mean, and I'm not, don't get me wrong, like I'm not like always good about that, okay? Mostly in terms of like clearing after myself, especially if I would have like a busy day and a couple of clients and then get distracted. So protection and afterwards clearing too. So make sure I come back to like my own, and this is my own and nothing else kind of like pick back right on my back or something.
Mm-hmm.
So clearing is also very important afterwards. And again, sometimes I'm not really good to about clearing afterwards, but I would do it. I have like I try to clear every session, and then after a day, and then once per week do like a bigger hardcore clearing, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. And so can you practice Reiki at home?
So if someone is a Reiki level 1 practitioner, yes, you have to be attuned, meaning your channel needs to be open and cleared. And practitioners of level 1, usually practice on themselves, on their
Mm-hmm.
family, and on their plants, on their animals, and that's a very beautiful practice. I feel like everyone should be attuned to Reiki 1 just to be able to practice on themselves and do that every day,
Mm-hmm.
because it is very powerful, and it's a great tool, just
Oh,
like
cool.
washing your teeth, brushing your
Yeah.
teeth.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, when you're in a Reiki section, are sorry, are you being touched during a Reiki session? And I ask this because when we met, you were doing massage, and obviously, like, you work through healing with touch. So when you're doing a Reiki session, are you being touched throughout the whole thing or no?
You mean the client is being
Yes.
touched, right? Okay.
Sorry,
Right.
is the client being touched?
You're so sweet. Um, yeah, can be or not. So, Reiki session. Okay, so outside of the typical Reiki session, Reiki can be infused into the yoga practice,
Mhm.
into massage practice, into many other practices, right? In a typical Reiki session, what you do is like you scan generally. It's a very short answer, right? You scan people's bodies with your hands, right? And then you do different techniques and different type of work, and then you actually gave Reiki energy to a person. Very short, brief answer, but it really depends on if the person gives the consent to be touched, because some people don't want to be touched, which is fine. You can totally do a session without touching, or you can touch a little. And some practitioners, like I personally myself, really kind of connect more to touch, and touching clients. Obviously, we're talking everything, appropriately, and which brings me to kind of like another thing that is, I feel like, very important. Healing, touch is so healing. People crave touch. And again, touch is enormously healing for people. What kind of I don't like about the times that we live at right now is touch is being really sexualized. And yeah, so that really kind of like makes me really sad, because again, touch is very healing.
Yeah. Thank you for that, Dee. And what tools do you use during a Reiki session?
There are many different tools, but I can talk about a couple of them. So, like Reiki tools would be, for example, using breath and hands palms, and then different techniques for like clearing or like infusing, right? Adjusting the chakras. If we talk about chakras, making sure that they flow in a balanced state. Doing what's called Reiki surgery. So it's kind of like scooping any like stuck emotions or any places that might be like overflown with certain like lower vibrational energies. So it's kind of like scooping like that. Okay. Cutting the cords, because we humans make energetic connections with other humans, and especially if we are close with those humans, then we create energy cords that still kind of like float around us, and can, if you say it, like suck out energy out of us, if that makes sense. So yeah, cutting those cords and getting rid of them. And then, some people use also tools like I do use essential oils a lot, for like frequency healing, and your smell, and different herbs. This is vetiver, my favorite one lately, or Palo Santo, sage, copal, other things like that. Um, Stones are very popular too, and I really like stones too. And it's nice for people also to hold them or like place them on people. So just, yeah, generally a couple of tools.
Cool. And so during a Reiki session, can you feel the client's trauma?
Not, I wouldn't like feel it for them, or see like specific, like being like sucked into the situation, if
Mhm.
you know that makes sense. But I do, so I've learned my own cues on how to spot where the trauma is trapped, and like how it feels. So I usually feel it, I feel the cues, if that makes sense. And sometimes I might get like visuals or like messages or like a blink of something. So yeah, but it's not, that like I get sucked in and I know everything, right?
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
I can determine like the emotions that were the main emotions that people felt like during this event.
Yeah. No, that's good. I think all of this is so interesting. Nobody's asked any questions, but that's okay because I have many.
Oh, no questions?
No, no questions yet. Let me just double check.
That's
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, it's okay. Um, so how can you do a cord cutting? Because you said there's like you can do cord cutting. How does that work? I'm actually curious about that.
Yeah. Well, it's a part of a session, so I don't, I'm not gonna tell how do you. Um, so we work together as a practitioner and a
Mhm.
person to determine where the cord is, and then we work together to, in a way, unscrew it, and kind of send it back in love and light, and make sure that we do it like all the way. So maybe like a little visual is like, how you have like a little plug that you plug the uh, what's the word?
Uh, like a cable?
Yeah, like a
Yeah.
cable. So the cord is the cable, and you're the plug. And what we're doing, you know, just like a visual, is we unplug the cable from.
Oh.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and
Okay.
then it doesn't take the electricity from you anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Does it make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay, good.
Very good visual, actually. I got it.
Okay, cool.
Okay, cool. And so when you're working on a session with a client, can the client feel the release, like the emotional release?
So each session is different, and it just really depends. Release is very hard for a lot of people,
Mm-hmm.
and release can happen in many different ways, which I always encourage that on the very beginning of my session. And you know, I try to lovingly talk to people about, hey, like if you feel like you need to release, then you know, this is a safe space for you. This is your time for healing. Just go ahead for it. Don't even look that I'm there. I'm just a facilitator, right? And release can happen as a you can cry, you can laugh, you can yawn, you can cough. People like move sometimes, and some people's like belly and intestines go very loud, so that's great to hear.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, some people do have releases during the session, which is great. And some people, you know, hold it in because it's very hard again to release. We think we need to hold it all in. And you know, some people also are afraid to cry, which I say, if you feel like laughing, laugh too, because that's a release. And laughing is easier for people, because crying is still like, there's so much stigma around crying, and people feel like it's a sign of weakness, whether it's really just like a shower for your soul, right? So it happens during the sessions, and if people don't release, well, they always release in a way, right? So there are like small releases and bigger releases, right? And the release always happens, and sometimes it doesn't have to have like a sign to it, but like usually the bigger releases would be, you know, like laughing out loud again, or like crying.
Mm-hmm.
If it doesn't happen, I know it's gonna happen sooner or later. So I always tell them after a session, if you feel like you need to cry or laugh or, you know, release, do it. You know, if you don't want to do it in front of other people, you know, go, you know, to your space where you are by yourself and just allow the release to happen, because it is going to happen, you know, on the table or not.
Yeah. Ooh, okay. No, thank you for sharing that, Dee. That's very interesting. It makes me really want to go get a Reiki session done.
Yeah, come visit me when you're back in SoCal.
Yes, I will. And I was gonna ask another question, but we're actually about out of time.
Okay.
I didn't even look at it. I was like, oh my gosh. Um, but yeah, I just wanted to thank you so much again for sharing all this stuff. It's all still like brand new to me, so I learned a lot today. And I'm just so grateful for you, Dee, and you just have taking the time to share all this with us. So thank you.
I am very grateful, Brenda, for you inviting me. Again, you're my dear, beautiful friend. I really cheer up for you and your work, your artwork. So don't give up on yourself.
Yeah.
But please. But yeah, thank you again for having me. And I had really had, you know, fun with you. And the whole process was beautiful. And I think I've learned from this process, you know, of us talking. And I've learned a lot of things too. So thank you for that.
Yeah, you're welcome, Dee. And if anybody has any questions they'd like to ask her when the video is posted, I'm gonna put your Instagram. So yeah, so if anybody has any questions for Dee, or if anybody misses the whole video, it'll be posted. And yeah, so thank you again, Dee, and we'll talk soon.
Yeah, thank you. And I just want to say, if anyone has any questions later, you guys can always contact me. You either can book like a free 15-minute call, or just hit me up on Instagram and, you know, slide me a DM or something. You know, I'm usually very responsive, and you know, wanna answer people's questions.
Yeah.
Again, so thank you, Brenda. I love you so much.
Thank you, Dee. I love you too. We'll talk soon.
Okay,
Bye.
bye-bye. Bye.